dude, there's so many crackheads coming out now because the weather's heating up.
Oh, really?
All over the neighborhood.
I didn't notice.
I was, I didn't know. Last night I was driving. I was going back home, and I saw a crackhead. She was waiting at the corner. She was like a crackhead prostitute, but like a 55-year-old woman, you know. And my girlfriend was like, "What is that lady? A drug dealer?" And I was like, "No, that lady is actually there waiting for a drug dealer to buy some crack, you know, or heroin. That's what they do." She was at one of those shitty corners. And then we went to the bank to pull out some money, and it was late. And there was an old. I'm assuming there was a couple, that it was a couple, but it was an old man and old lady, like really old, white hair, old, like 70s, like they were really old, with one bike between the two of them, and they were laying down, sleeping inside the bank, and they had all their bags and food spread out, so like chips and all that stuff, and it was horrible. Like you felt terrible for them because you saw this guy. It was not like there's nothing he can do. He can't contribute to society in any way, right? And the whole time in my head, I was thinking, I go, we pay so much here in taxes, right? It's not New York. It's not like more than half our fucking salaries go to all these programs, but none of the programs actually matter. The programs are to put lights up and shit like that. You know, I mean, decorative lights, not lights that we need. And then there's fucking two old people dying in a goddamn bank, and nobody does a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible.
Did you see that there's a homeless guy in Vancouver that died in a Tim Hortons?
No.
And they didn't, it took like hours before anyone noticed he had died.
See, that's why Starbucks wants these people out quickly. They don't
Yeah.
want you to die in there.
Exactly.
Really? He just collapsed?
He just collapsed. And apparently he was like a regular. Like in the article I read, it said he was a regular at that Tim Hortons. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to be in that Tim Hortons where one of the regulars is a homeless guy that, well, even if he didn't die, just you don't want to be in a restaurant that it's all homeless people.
And it's the regulars.
Yeah.
It's like, excuse me, I believe that man is ejaculating on the counter. Oh, that's just Billy. Classic Billy. The manager of that Tim Hortons. He's like, classic Bill.
That's like Cheers, except, that, you know, instead of, hey, Norm, it's fucking put your pants back on, Norm.
But that's really what it is. There's a guy with syringes there doing heroin. It's like, Steve. Classic Steve. What a great place to work.
Have you ever been in Vancouver?
Never.
Vancouver's homeless people are the scariest homeless people I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Because like whenever you see homeless people like in Montreal or Toronto, you're always like, why don't these fucking people like go to Florida or whatever? And the reason they don't is because they can't cross the border. Because I guess if you're homeless, you're not gonna have like a passport that's up to date, right?
Most likely.
So they can't go to the States, so they go to Vancouver because that's the warmest place in Canada. So it's all like career homeless people. Like it's like here you
promoted.
They're
the assistant managers of the homeless store.
They're partners.
That's what they
we have 32,000 partners
in our third, fourth, and sixth places. That's
but there, if you go on YouTube and you like just search for Vancouver homeless people, they're the scariest fucking people. And I performed at the Olympics in 2010.
You were doing.
I was a
trapeze artist.
Yeah. I was doing the long jump, but no, they booked me to do a French comedy show in the Olympic Village, and. So I went there, and the taxi driver told me, like, they had removed all the homeless people. They had just put them in buses and then shipped them, like, to Winnipeg or Calgary or something, and just so that when people would come to Vancouver, they'd be like, oh, this is such a nice city. So
there are no homeless here.
There are no homeless. But the guy was telling me, he was like, there's no homeless people during the day, but at night, it's all the scary homeless people, because all the lazy homeless we got rid of, but the ones that are, like, shifty and quick... They all hid.
Shifty and quick.
So then like I had gotten lost. Like I did my show, then went out drinking, and then I walked back to the hotel, and I walked through that fucking crazy neighborhood, and I've never been that afraid in my whole fucking life. Like there were all these homeless people, and I was trying to stop cabs, and they wouldn't stop for me, and. Like
they thought you were one of them?
Yeah. So and the way that we got a cab is my friend jumped in front of a taxi, and he was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
That's how you really show that you're not crazy, is by jumping in front of traffic.
And plus, like, my friend he used to be one of the guys at Just for Laughs. So he was kind of an executive. So he was wearing like a fucking a rich guy suit, like a $3,000-$4,000 suit.
Oh shit!
So it's like a guy that's wearing a $3,000 suit in a neighborhood that it's all fucking crackheads and fucking $2 whores. He looks even scarier.
He looks like he's either there to fuck them all.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just having sex with like heroin addicts.
Yeah.
And pretending like he doesn't know. He's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me 37 times. I'm just coming here for the fucking free meal.
I'm coming here for the pussy,
for the heroin pussy.